Hi, this is Annie from Wild Birds Unlimited in Westchester, Ohio, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about hummingbirds. And I wanted to share with you some potential reasons as to why you might not be seeing hummingbirds at your feeders right now. And then I also wanted to share some tips about how you might be able to attract more hummingbirds to your yard. So first, I wanted to share 5 different reasons why you might not be seeing hummingbirds. And the first reason is that right now it's late spring, early summer, and most female hummingbirds are still on the nest. So you're not really going to see that large increase of hummingbirds at your feeders until about mid-summer, when we'll get our females back as well as the young hummingbirds too. The second reason is just kind of depends year to year on the weather as well as migration. So we had that late kind of cold that happened in May, which might have caused a little bit of a decrease in hummingbird population. So that's another reason why we might not be seeing so many at your feeders right now. The third reason is that more and more people are actually feeding hummingbirds, which is really great for hummingbird population. So you might have more neighbors putting out hummingbird feeders. You might have more neighbors planting native plants that attract hummingbirds. So it's really good that it's happening, but it's kind of a bummer for us who might not see some at our individual houses. The fourth reason that we might not be seeing any is that male hummingbirds are very territorial. So you might have one male hummingbird and he might just kind of be defending your whole hummingbird feeding area. So the best way to deal with that is to actually put up another hummingbird feeder in your yard, but on like the opposite side of the yard, so out of eyesight of one another. That way you might have one male defending one hummingbird station, but that leaves another whole hummingbird station for your other hummingbirds to go to. And then the fifth reason is that your hummingbird feeder might not be clean. So you need to make sure that you are cleaning your hummingbird feeder out and putting in fresh nectar pretty often, especially as the weather gets warmer. So we say, once temperatures hit about 80 degrees every day, you want to make sure that you are changing out your nectar every 3 days once it gets to 80 degrees, and then every 2 days once it gets to 90 degrees. And make sure that you are just doing the 1 part sugar to 4 parts water. Just make that at home. Do not use any honey or brown sugar or organic sugar. Just use the plain table sugar. That'll work great. And no red dyes either. So those are some potential reasons why you might not be having hummingbirds at your feeders. So let's talk a little bit about some tips about how you can attract hummingbirds to your yard. The first one is, as I had mentioned, put up multiple feeders. So right here I have 2 different types of hummingbird feeders. We have our small mini one here and our 8-ounce one here. Now I would not, and I do not actually hang these in the same system. I actually put one of my feeders out in my front yard. As I said, you kind of want to put them in separate areas of your yard so that the males can't defend both of them. So other things that you might want to consider adding is you might want to consider adding a perching area. So hummingbirds, like other birds, they like to perch. So you might want to add a little branch, or this is actually a hummingbird swing you can add to your station, which is really cute to actually watch. Hummingbirds will sit on it, but other small birds will sit on it too, and it gives them a little place to rest, and you get to see them for a longer amount of time. Other things to make sure that you have, make sure you have an ant moat. So this hummingbird feeder here actually has a built-in ant moat in it. And so the ants will actually fill this with water, and the ants will get stuck in here and they won't get into the nectar, which is good because they won't eat the nectar and they also won't contaminate the nectar. And it's the same thing if you are getting a lot of bees at your hummingbird feeders. We also have these bee guards that you can actually attach to the bottom of the openings here, and it prevents your bees from getting to it again, so they won't eat it all and they won't contaminate the nectar. So those are 2 things to consider with your hummingbird feeders. Make sure you get one that has an ant moat, and then if you have bee problems, adding the bee guards to it. You might also want to consider adding a weather guard. This is a weather guard here. Weather guards are nice because it can kind of keep it a little bit more protected from those from the sun on those really hot days. Also a little bit more protection from rain. And hummingbirds, since they are attracted to the color red, it might help attract them more to your feeding station. And aesthetically, I think it looks kind of nice with that dome over it. So those are some of the ways that you can, by changing up kind of your feeders, that you might attract them more to your yard. You could also add some native plants, some nectar bearing native plants to your yard. So this one right here is a black and blue salvia. So I have this right next to my hummingbird station, and the hummingbirds love this. But you can look up online or talk to your local nursery about other plants that hummingbirds really like and consider adding them to your yard. And lastly, adding water to your yard is going to be a really big draw to hummingbirds. Hummingbirds love to have moving water. So adding a mister or a dripper will really attract your hummingbirds. They love to play in that water, to drink the water. So if you're able to add a bird bath and add a mister dripper, that's going to really attract more hummingbirds to your yard. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope this information was very helpful for you. And if you have any questions, please come by the store, Wild Birds Unlimited, either in Voice of America or up in Springboro. Have a nice day.